And the fate of the more than 1 million people living with HIV hangs in the balance following the suspension of funding from the United States government. HIV patients in the country had free access to antiretroviral treatment through the USAID-funded President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, known as PEPFAR. And as NTV's Health and Science reporter Bridget Ngana tells us, the Ministry of Health needs more than R1 billion to plug in the hole.
At Nyumbani Children's Home, young ones living with HIV play, oblivious of the impact of the United States government decision to suspend the United States Agency for International Development that was providing them with antiretroviral medication. The management at this children's home, which solely takes care of children living with HIV through mother-to-child transmissions, is now fearful of their fate.
If you stop ARVs for these children, there is drug resistance. Afterwards, they will get all kind of opportunistic infections. Then we lose one by one.
Then when we had the government telling us the only house took for 6 months, so really we started looking out. So like just making appeals for any well-wishers to come in.
For Alice Okwiri, a HIV patient with a child also living with HIV, the last few months have been stressful. The clinic where she gets her antiretroviral medication has started rationing the drugs.
Even my other girls, they tell me, Mom, we really pray for you, but we know you are going to be strong. So I told them, yeah, you just tell them by your mouth, but inside, deeply in my heart, it's too heavy for me to pour it out on them that I don't see a life.
But the Ministry of Health is optimistic that Treasury will provide the money needed to supply the 2.5 million bottles of ARVs, 750,000 HIV test kits, and 500,000 malaria nets.
And so now we are dependent on Treasury to release funds for us to continue the services as we integrate it into the program, the broader program.
Stakeholders in the health sector calling for swift action from governments to prevent the loss of life.
It is not an entitlement, and therefore we should be able to talk to the government to realign its resources to ensure that we can cover these gaps where possible, and where not possible, we will continue to talk to our other partners.
Low supplies of ARVs, including those often used to prevent mother-to-child transmission, have been reported. The National Syndemic Diseases Control Council says it needs 1.3 billion shillings to distribute the commodities and another $68 million to avert shortages and stockouts. Bridget Ngana, NTV.